Welcome to Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley, Emmanuel Acho. Start off, respect. Rest in peace, DMX. Certainly had an effect on us, got us pumped up for the games.
Real talk. That's real. You said it all.
All right. I can see the respect you're showing without a jacket today. All right, let's get it started in New England. Shout out to your ex. Cam Newton had a rocky first year in New England, but he's getting several new receiving targets after the Patriots free agency spending spree. You hear that, Acho? Former throwing coach Tom House. Whose house? Tom's house. Worked with Cam in the past and said, not bet against the former MVP, adding, quote, Cam will throw the ball better this year than he did last year. You hear that, Acho? So, Acho, have the Patriots set Cam up to succeed.
So now you care about the opinion of quarterback coaches? Marcellus Wiley?
First of all, Tom House? Yes, I do, because I worked with Tom House before.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? I'm going to tell you my story. I got a Tom House story. It's a beautiful one.
Yes, the Patriots are setting Cam up to succeed. And they are so because I see the shock.
Hold on, where's the but statement?
There's no
but statement?
There is no but, America.
I love
Me
this.
and my dog on this beautiful Friday.
Don't say your dog today.
I know.
Respect.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
They're setting him up to succeed because the only way you can succeed first and foremost is with an opportunity.
Yes,
right? Like
yes.
The first thing I need is an opportunity.
Yes.
And the Patriots are giving Cam Newton an opportunity when no one else was.
Okay.
That's first and foremost. Last year, nobody else was checking for Cam, and they said, you know what, Cam? We see you in the discount section, but we think you still got. He was in the discount.
He was at Ross?
He was. He said he was at Marshall's. We see you, Cam, but we think you still got something there. So they went through the aisle, they looked through the discount clothes, they found Cam Newton on the cheap. Then he did below average, but enough for some like Marcellus Wiley to say, hey, give him another shot. They gave him another shot. But more importantly than that, fans, is this. They're making him the kind of exclusive starter, like not even competition. Remember, competition breeds excellence, but competition can also birth failure.
I heard
right?
you.
Cam Newton right now, he ain't got to worry about that. Ain't got to worry about no failure because there's no competition.
Jared Stidham in the building. In the building?
What building? Okay, so not only are you giving them an opportunity to succeed, because you're giving them an opportunity, but then you're not even having to make him compete. And then furthermore, you're giving him talent around him this offseason. Sal, I'm going to dive into it deeper on my next lap, but I'm going to leave y'all with a cliffhanger. Everybody says, well, the Patriots only went out and signed Nelson Aguilar in free agency this offseason. That's wide receiver. They signed Kendrick Bourne, a couple tight ends.
I see the list.
The biggest name on that list for the wide receivers, Nelson Aguilar. But Acho, he only had 896 receiving yards. I get all that. But then you look at the receiving market in free agency. It wasn't really robust.
Okay.
Chris Godwin, he franchise tagged, so he stayed in Tampa. Outside of that, Marvin Jones, he had 900 yards this offseason. Curtis Samuel had 800 yards this offseason. Nelson Aguilar was the third best receiver in free agency statistically, coming off of last season. So I don't know what else Patriots fans can do for Cam Newton. I don't know what else Bill Belichick can do from Cam Newton. I don't know what else McDaniels can do for Cam Newton. They have set him up to succeed. Now it's all on Cam.
Did I just hear a take that basically said, yes, they set Cam Newton up to succeed, but he will fail? Did I hear that? Did I hear that whisper?
The but he will fail, I believe, was in parentheses. I didn't say it out loud, but I do think the world kind of expects it to exist.
Oh, like the cartoon thought bubbles? That's what it was? Okay. Well, let me answer the question explicitly. Cam Newton has been set up to succeed, and he will succeed. Okay. Think about what Cam Newton went through last year. Like, we can't be up here in this air-conditioned studio, former players, and so far removed from the game that we forget the rigors of the game.
No doubt.
Cam Newton, think about this, Acho. In your 4 years, my 10 years, our 14 years of collective NFL experience. Yeah, top that other shows with no moderator sitting here saying that was good, that was bad. Nah, dog, we got this. Let's talk about how it was. When you are a player that is coming off of injury, you are on a mission to prove to yourself that you can be your old self. But you know what the healthy players are saying in that same offseason? That I'm on a mission to prove that I could be better than I was. Cam Newton was robbed of that experience. That's just the starting point. Then, as you said, he goes through an offseason where he has no offseason. No one does because of COVID. He goes through a situation where he's picked up in July, like 4th of July time. So there's no offseason. Everything's virtual. There's no preseason to even just get into the groove, just to know, okay, let me take this playbook and materialize it on the football field. Okay, that's all that before we even play one snap of meaningful football. Then he's in an offense that no quarterback succeeds in year one. That's going back to Vinny Testaverde, if you want to go way back with Bill Belichick in Cleveland. That's going to Tom Brady. You could go to Matt Castle. Whoever you're going to name, their year one, either they were sitting down, absorbing, internalizing the system, or they struggled. Now we get to Cam Newton, who's playing meaningful football finally, and he's on a team that has been robbed and devoid of so much talent that Tom Brady, after 20 years, said, peace, I'm out of here, because y'all ain't got enough to get back over the hump and get back into a Super Bowl contention. So Tom Brady disappears on this team. Cam Newton arrives late for this team with a squad with no weapons, worst tight end group in the NFL the last 2 years, and third worst receiving group in the NFL last 2 years. And Cam Newton is saying, bring it on. And then Cam Newton started off fast. I remember early shows with us talking about, damn, Cam took Seattle all the way down to, damn, Cam looked pretty good, 2-1 start. And then on top of everything I just said, Cam Newton himself catches COVID, big dog. So instead of improving on his old injured self, instead of being a guy who could go out there and learn this system and have time to do that, instead of a guy who could have the repetitions in preseason to do that, that guy plays with a bunch of dudes who didn't qualify for Super Bowl standards and then catches COVID. And you sit here and say, that was a horrible, what did you say, below average year?
Below average.
Oh, my God. If you want to look at 21 total touchdowns, 10 interceptions with those circumstances and that adversity as a below average year, brother, you have forgotten where you came from.
Here's the thing, Stel. I haven't forgotten where I came from. I remember where I was when I was there, and what I remember is very simple. I don't care about how rough the tide is. Just bring the boat in.
Oh, don't tell me about the pain. Just show me the baby.
That's it,
That's what my
Sel.
coach used
Like,
to say.
you
Okay.
talking to me about how rocky and how rough the tide is, and Bill Belichick doesn't care about all that. You shouldn't either as a non-biased analyst, nor should I. We should just sit here and figure out, did he bring the boat in or not? Now, when you talk about setting Cam up to succeed, I'm going to spend my second lap saying how they have. But I think the real conversation needs to be how it's really boom or bust now for Cam. Nonetheless, Patriots this offseason, they went and they got a beast left tackle in Trent Brown.
There you go.
Same Trent Brown that went to Oakland, went to Las Vegas, formerly Oakland, went to Oakland from New England, signed the biggest and richest deal for a left tackle at the time. So they got him a stout left tackle. Then remember Cam Newton, he finished 5th in the NFL last year in touchdown passes in the red zone. So what do? We'll just bring you JuJu Smith, tied for 4th in touchdown passes amongst all tight ends.
Now
okay, Cam Newton, you throw the deep ball not very frequently, but you throw it very efficiently. You've told me this.
Very well. Number one.
Number one. He throws it the least often, but when he does throw it, he's the best at doing it.
You have to throw that first part in there, but I'm listening.
When he does do it, he balls.
Okay.
So we're going to bring you in the second best playmaking big-time receiver as far as statistically, Nelson Aguilar, 18.7 yards per catch. So now, Cam Newton, you ain't got no excuse to sell. You said that the Patriots lost 4 games by a touchdown or less.
Yeah, deep in the opponent's territory.
Yes, bingo. One of those games was to your Buffalo Bills. Now, how do they lose to the Buffalo Bills? There was a minute and 39 seconds left, a minute 29 seconds left. You got the ball.
Don't do this.
5 straight times you call a running play. So what happens on the 5th time with the running play? Cam Newton, you sit there and you fumble at the 12-yard line. All of a sudden, the Buffalo Bills, they beat you by 3 when you were already in field goal position. So at least you were going to tie. And best case, you were going to go down there and win. But why do you got to call 5 consecutive running plays with a minute and 29 seconds left in the opponent's high red zone to low red zone? Because they don't trust Cam Newton with the weapons, with the current weapons.
You think that's the only reason?
That's the issue,
Or you don't want to make sure you score fast and give them the ball back quick.
With that Patriots offense, you don't worry about scoring fast. You worry about scoring. So Cam ain't got no more excuses. Beast left tackle, 2 stout tight ends. Now you have an X-play receiver. He's set up to succeed. Now we got to talk about if he will and if he doesn't, what are the ramifications?
Okay, this set up to succeed. I hate that it has so many qualifiers from you. Like, I am doing my job when I say, man, that was a tough situation you were thrown into. Like, that's doing my job, big dog. For those who don't dive into the details, I must get wet, mess this hair up in the deep end of the pool, letting everybody know all the hurdles that he had to face. I'm not going to go into my track examples, but you know your boy last night on DVR was watching them Texas relays.
Were you?
Yes, I was watching them Texas relays, watching them hurdlers go out there and get it. And I don't give a damn how fast you run over them hurdles. You never going to run as fast as you are if there are no hurdles present.
That is fair.
And that is Cam Newton in this situation. Okay, Let me take you way back, because so far you have flunked the test of getting a pass where I'm from, homie. You know what I'm saying? You have not watched a single movie that I've ever seen, and a lot of my music is kind of like over your head or under your feet. I don't know.
That's fair. I did go back and rewatch the Eddie Murphy movies. I went back and watched, is it called Raw?
What you mean, is it called Raw? No, it's just Raw.
Okay, I went back and did my homework. Okay, so I'm still making
Okay,
up.
that's true.
Thank you.
Delirious as well?
I seen that. I seen
Okay,
them both.
there we go.
I seen the whole red jumpsuit, all that.
You had an Instagram post with one of them, that blue one. You better chill out. Everybody, look at it. Acho's Instagram. Look at that blue suit. All right, let me get this going. Have you ever heard of a group called Shalimar? No, you haven't. I know you haven't. That's why forget giving you a pass. How you even get one in the first place? They had a song called "A Second Time Around." Papa ever do that with Mama in the kitchen? Nope. Okay. Here's one of the lyrics. Ooh, the second time is so much better, baby. Now, that's not the tone. That's not the tempo. But the point is, did you hear what I said? Ooh, the second time is so much better. How can we do worse? How can Cam do worse than 21 touchdowns, 10 interceptions with everything he's been given? I will repeat, Aguilar, career high last year, not only in terms of matching his 8 touchdowns career high, but in receiving yards. You brought that up. JuJu Smith, we saw him 9 touchdowns. JuJu Smith, Hunter Henry, my dog, when healthy. 60 catches in 14 games last year with the Chargers. Point being, he has everything he needs, but most importantly, he has himself. Tom House tried to bring this up to you. You kind of just looked at it and said, oh, you're listening to quarterback guru coaches now? Actually, I am. Tom House is no one to sneeze at. Tom House once came to our Jacksonville practices. Everybody's running sprints. Let me give you this story real quick. I know you're going to like it. So everybody runs sprints. This is my 9th, 10th year, so I'm sorry right now. I'm about to be an analyst. It's happening right in front of my eyes. And while we're running sprints, and I'm not winning, but I'm close. I don't play him that much, so it's true. I'm fresh. Tom House singles out one player out of all of those guys running in that conditioning drill. Yeah. He said, hey, Marcellus, did you used to run track? You know I said, yes, I did, Mr. Tom House. Tom House knows football. Tom House knows form. Tom House knows mechanics. Tom House saw Cam Newton trying to rehab from his injury, said, look, the guy is getting there, but what got in his way? COVID, late signing, bad team, and still went out there 1 game away from 500, still went out there 21 total touchdowns and 10 interceptions. So you could take the qualifiers away from this situation. Cam's going to succeed. Cam's going to survive and thrive.
Here's the thing. Number one, I would hope, pray, wish that my specific position coach would speak highly of me. So what you expect Tom House to say about Cam Newton? I would hope, pray, and wish that my co-host would at least publicly admonish me to other peers when speaking publicly. So I don't really take that to mean anything.
He doesn't work with him anymore, though.
What I will say, Sel, is this, because I do think that is to a degree right. But what I'll say is, can we really ignore Cam Newton's entire body of work? That's my fear. Has he been set up to succeed? Absolutely. But do you deny that Cam Newton's highs are higher than just about every other player that's ever played this game?
It's up there.
It's up there.
Yep, it's up there.
Higher than just about every other player who has played this game. But his lows or his average is below average. Like, I'm with you. Cam Newton's highs are incredibly high. NFL MVP, 35 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, en route to a Super Bowl without any superstars. He had a mix of running backs that year. He had a tight end in Greg Olsen. He didn't have any, like, superstar receivers. Like, he had a great defense. Don't sleep on that. But Cam Newton led his team to a Super Bowl. His highs were great. But still, he got 6 seasons with 7 wins or less now. He only got 3 seasons with double-digit wins now. So I'm not looking at last season so much as an anomaly as I am the norm.
Okay.
He has a 6-win season his rookie year, a 7-win season his sophomore year, a 5-win season his 4th year, a 6-win season his 6th year, a 6-win season his 8th year, a 7-win season last year. So last year wasn't so much an anomaly as it was, you know what, Cam Newton, when you are your average self, this is who you are. Now, when you go crazy, Cam, can't nobody see you. And that's what Tom House said. Okay. Tom House said, hey, Cam Newton is one of the best players I've ever been around when he's healthy, when he's balling.
Best athletes
I've ever been around.
Yep.
But still, I think last year, it might have been Cam Newton's average.
That's the average based on the coaches he was with. No shots at those. Based on Carolina's system and organization, no shot at that. but it ain't Bill Belichick. It's not the New England Patriots. So if Cam Newton is the same average Carolina Cam Newton in New England, that will get inflated. One of the things about the Patriot way, every single player that I know, including you, has always whispered, if not yelled, is the fact that, hey, you go to New England, they're going to get the most out of you. Whatever that looks like, whatever that is. Why you now don't want to give that and apply that to Cam Newton and potential of what he can do going forward? You know what robbed Cam Newton of shining and hitting the ground running in New England? Himself, his injuries. The Three Little Pigs. Look, I don't know the story fully because you know me, I grew up on Sweet Pickles, not Sesame Street. I don't know. They built a house right on. One of them was sand, one of them bricks and straw. Yeah, you don't know the story either. Damn, you don't know Shalimar, you don't know the Three Little Pigs. Anyway, the point of it is, Cam couldn't build his house last year because he didn't have the foundation. He was robbed of it because of his injuries and also robbed of it because of his acumen and not knowing this system. I go back. Bernie Kosar, was he a good quarterback? Yep. Struggled with Bill Belichick year one. Vinny Testaverde, Drew Bledsoe, $100 million man, first one ever. So all that adds up to Cam Newton. Here it is for you. And don't forget, Cam Newton had the highest touchdown percentage of any player in the NFL last year on their team. Any player. And you're saying that's below average? Okay. And a higher completion percentage than Tom Brady. Maybe in New England, they're glad Tom Brady's gone. Coming up, wink, wink. Draymond Green said young players in the NBA are soft with an F and another F. We'll tell you if we have a problem with that. But first, should Lamar Jackson be in the $40 million a year club? Yes, he should. Well, you know my answer. We'll hear what Acho has to say next. Don't speak for yourself.
Welcome back. Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, they in the $40 million a year club. And who's knocking at the door? That's Lamar Jackson. He could be next. The former MVP is up for a long-term deal, and he's in line for huge, and I mean huge, payday. Lamar became the only quarterback in league history to rush for over 1,000 yards in 2 seasons, which could factor into negotiations. Now, my former colleague, former head coach, Jim Mora Jr. said, quote, you gasp when you think about $40 million. But that's the going rate, and it's the worthwhile risk for this type of player because he is without a doubt a game changer. I was a DC, and the pressure he puts on a defense is really hard to measure. He's hard to prepare for. Close quote. So, Marcellus, is Lamar Jackson a $40 million a year QB?
At least a $40 million a year QB. Absolutely. Golly, you know I love this dude. You know I can go there all day and wax poetic about how great Lamar Jackson is. And I'm going to do some of that right now. But it's so many ways to attack this. I keep talking about how there's only 2 of Lamar Jacksons in the world, and obviously he's one as a unanimous MVP. So you got to pay that guy accordingly. You got to respect what he's earned. It's not about giving what Lamar Jackson wants. It's about what he's earned. And what he's earned is over $40 million a year. So let's go to our classic example of Beverly Hills adjacent living Acho. Okay, because if you live in Beverly Hills, you have a jacket on today. But you live in Beverly Hills adjacent, and that's how you come out the house. Okay. Lamar Jackson really has no competition to talk about. Okay, everybody gonna say Patrick Mahomes. Okay, duh. That's not even competition. That's out of the stratosphere. That's like saying, oh, yeah, I got to race Usain Bolt. It's like, nah, just race for second. This is really a race for second. Who's gonna be the second highest paid quarterback, correct? So now, let's use some comps to attack this. There's a Dak Prescott who just got $40 million, and there's a Deshaun Watson right under there at $39 million. You really want to do this? Because we know that Deshaun Watson has to be the floor for when you're talking about how much you're going to pay Lamar Jackson. Forget the floor, the basement. Let's go to the East Coast. The basement. Because there's no way you could pay him less than $39 million. Because look at Deshaun Watson versus look at Lamar Jackson. Deshaun's only 2 games over 500. What the hell? 29 and 27 for his career. Don't look at me like that because Deshaun, your boy. Lamar is 31 and 10. So we know what the basement is. 31 and 10 versus 29 and 27. Now, everybody gonna say, it's different situations, different teams. Duh. So let's do this. What's been your impact? What has been your significant impact to your situation? The Ravens, let's go 3 years before they both got there. The Ravens, 22 wins, no playoff appearances in the 3 years before Lamar Jackson. What about the Texans? 27 wins, not that much better, but 2 playoff appearances. Wait a minute. And Lamar went to a worse situation and had that kind of impact on it? than a Deshaun Watson. So if Deshaun is 39, we know what you got to be. Now let's talk about Dak. I love me some Dak too. But Dak, in the playoffs, kind of like Lamar. However, when you talk about, do you have an MVP? Do you have a unanimous MVP? Is everything based on you, or is this combination between your receiving core, Ezekiel Elliott, what the O-line does, et cetera, and allowing you to grow? No. So Lamar Jackson has just looked at the comps, the competition, really. Dak, Deshaun, pat. Y'all both get out the way. Lamar's going to make at least what Deshaun made, at least what Dak made. That's 40+ million.
That is fair. But,
That's true.
When you think about a question simply, you will get a simple answer. You're thinking about this question very simply. Is Lamar Jackson a $40 million a year quarterback? Well, duh. If you compare him to what the market currently dictates that you pay for quarterbacks, of course he is.
Yeah, that's
Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott by all metrics. So, yes, he is. Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson by many metrics. So, yes, duh.
All right.
But, Sal, when you think about things more complex, because life is more complex, right? At least if you want to succeed in this life, you can't think about things so simply. I think about complexities. If you paying a quarterback $40 million a year, I want a Super Bowl, and I don't want you to be a limiting reactant for me receiving a Super Bowl. I'm going to go somewhere, and I will arrive back. We can go to the airport, since I just told y'all I'm going to take y'all somewhere. If you go to the airport, Marcellus Wiley, and you see an 8-ounce bottle of water for $3.75, well, then the 20-ounce bottle of water, if it's only $4, yes, it's worth it. Of course.
Yes.
But the real issue at hand is that the 8-ounce bottle of water was never worth $3.75. The airport's already charging too much for the 8-ounce. So if you're going to ask me an isolated question, well, Emmanuel Acho is a 20-ounce worth $4? Yeah, compared to the 8-ounce. But the problem is they overpricing for bottles of water. The problem is, Dak Prescott, to me, philosophically, if you're talking $40 million, there are only 3 to 4 quarterbacks that's worth $40 million. Because if I'm paying you $40 million, I don't want you to be a limiting reactant for a Super Bowl. So who are the 4? Patrick Mahomes. He's not a limiting reactant for his team's success. Aaron Rodgers, he's not a limiting reactant for his team's success. Tom Brady, he's not a limiting reactant for his team's success. And I would submit, but I won't argue about Russell Wilson. Now, you might say, well, Russell Wilson went 11 for 28 or whatnot in the playoffs, 40% completion percentage. That's why I said I will not argue that. But if I'm paying you $40 million a year, I want you to win me a Super Bowl. And if you don't, just don't be the limiting reactant for my success. The Ravens lost to your Bills in the playoffs by 14 points. Lamar Jackson threw a 100-yard pick six, 14-point swing. The Ravens in the first playoff loss, Lamar Jackson's rookie year. Where'd Lamar Jackson go? The Ravens in the playoff loss last year, Lamar Jackson's sophomore season. What's the deal? Because Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, Marcellus Wiley versus Lamar Jackson in the regular season, and y'all got the full screen, so y'all look at the numbers. What's really good? Regular season, 64% completion percentage. Playoffs, 56. Regular season passer rating, 102. Playoffs, 66. As I look at it, Lamar Jackson, come playoff time, you could argue that he's a limiting reactant for his team's success, meaning it's Lamar Jackson that's stopping them from succeeding. The last thing I'm going to say is this.
Wow.
The way I look at the philosophy is if I'm going to pay you a ton of money, I'm not paying you a ton of money to sell tickets. I'm not paying you a ton of money to win individual rewards. I'm paying you a ton of money to win it all. Like, I vehemently disagree with the fact that Russell Westbrook has been a multi-million-dollar supermax dude. Russell Westbrook, he's one of the best, most talented players. But I'm like, yo, is he finna win a chip? No.
Don't do that.
I'm not doing that to Lamar right now.
3-1,
I'm not doing that to Lamar right now. What I'm saying is this, Sal. Are you paying a guy because the market dictates his value? Sure. Lamar is clearly worth it if Dak is worth 40. But my issue at hand is this. I don't think Dak is worth 40. I don't think Carson Wentz was worth what he got paid. I don't think Jared Goff was worth what he got paid. And I think the Eagles, I think the Rams currently, I think the Niners with Jimmy G, I think the Vikings with Kirk Cousins, I think several teams would agree with me about several quarterbacks. So I say that, yes, Lamar Jackson is worth it compared to some cats. But the real question is, have we been overpaying all along?
Boy. Talking about throwing them curveballs, boy. I love coming up to plate with you because I don't know what's coming. Whoa! A little inside there, big dog. I'm pretty pumped on this one right now. You gave me something to think about. I love you. I love you. I love you. But Maybe you're overthinking it because you talked about complexities. And I like, first of all, when you're at the airport, just take your take your laptop, take your phone, plug in, listen to a podcast. Stop over there having a complexity conversation mentally and the philosophy of water at the airport store. That's what you're in there doing, and that's the problem with you. You said a sentence, Mark. I have a problem that, no, you said these guys are getting paid just because the market dictates their value.
Yes, sir.
That's literally all you get paid. Like, I understand you have a frustration with that. I understand you have a problem with that. You had a problem, obviously, with your tailor with that. And you're like, I'm not paying that much for the jacket. And then look at you. You come in looking like that. I can't believe I got a co-host. I have a friend who says that since all these other teams are doing the wrong thing, let's not do the right thing. Oh, wait a minute. You didn't think I was going to flip it that way. They did the wrong thing, you're saying. Yeah, Deshaun. Oh, yeah, Dak. You saying they shouldn't have got paid that? I can say that. I can agree with that. We can have that segment, but that ain't this segment. Since they did get that, that's what we use to jump up from, right?
Correct.
And Lamar Jackson, by all metrics, has shown that he deserves that. I'm not talking about passing yards. I'm not talking.
Vernon, do two wrongs make a right?
No, I just said Lamar is right. Who else? Name me another MVP in this conversation of comps. Go. You can't. You know what? Don't. Have you ever won MVP? Me either. Of
course not.
Pop Warner. Yeah, I did actually. But stop, dog. In the NFL, of all football players currently existing, you're the best one, and you don't get paid accordingly?
Do you believe that this current Lamar Jackson with the current Baltimore Ravens and the current offensive coordinator can win a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yesterday you told me otherwise.
What did I say? And I'm going to say it again. If they grow and evolve. Like, I didn't expect it. Did you expect them to win a Super Bowl their rookie year? No. Now, we were surprised their second year how good they were, especially how good Lamar Jackson was. But to the point that they had to win a Super Bowl, was it necessitated? No. It wasn't necessary in that moment. Last year, all this talk of regression, Lamar Jackson still went out there, 36 total touchdowns? Like, he balled, but he just didn't ball at the same heights and ascension as the heavens that he was in the year before. So when is he supposed to have won this Super Bowl?
Let's have the real conversation. Because
you don't like this one?
It's easy for me to say, yes, Lamar Jackson's worth $40 million if Dak is worth $40 million. But everybody would say yes to that because Lamar's better than Dak. Dak gets $40 million. Lamar gets $40 million.
Yes.
Let's move on. Let's go to commercial break. No, it's too simple. The real question then becomes, if you're paying a guy $40 million, what do you want in return? And what I'm saying I want in return is for you to not stand in the way of me winning a Super Bowl. And statistically, Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, he has stood in the way of the Ravens winning. This isn't my opinion.
That's Peyton Manning 2.0 stuff.
I wish it was.
You will eat those words very soon.
Then when we eat them, can we pay?
No, because he already eaten.
You kill what you eat.
Yeah,
but kill what you eat. You what you kill.
You know who he killed? He killed not only the MVP trophy. He said, "Give me the unanimous one." They's like, "We only bring this out for one special guy. We've only brought this out once ever." Okay, he killed that one too.
Let's talk. And I wish we could ask Ravens fans and poll right now. What playoff quarterback would you rather have? Lamar Jackson in the playoffs or Joe Flacco in the playoffs?
Oh, don't do that.
I have to.
Don't do that.
Because Joe Flacco in the playoffs, when we had Torrey Smith on this show, Super Bowl winner, receiver for the Ravens when they won with Joe Flacco last week. What playoff quarterback would you rather have? Right now, I think Ravens fans would I don't even need the pen. I think Ravens fans would rather have Joe Flacco at the quarterback position.
Yeah, because you saw the results. He won a Super Bowl.
And we've seen the playoff results with Lamar.
We haven't seen his career results. You're going to compare him to old-ass Flacco who did it? Defense, running game. Man, don't even do this. Did Joe Flacco ever win the MVP?
But that's not the matter. I'm not paying you $40 to win an MVP, Sam.
It's stepping stones, bro. I know that you got to the top of the mountain just by helicopter. You ain't even say, I'm going to climb it. And Lamar's climbing it. He already climbed the unanimous MVP. He's already climbed in terms of leading the league in passing touchdowns. But you don't like this climb because he's like, get to the top. Patrick Mahomes got paid. Did he win a Super Bowl? He's not in the way of them winning a Super Bowl. But did he get the results that you always say? And this is my problem. You make it so linear. You make the correlation, and it has to be direct. If you get paid, where's your Super Bowl? Dog, most players don't get Super Bowls, but most players get paid if they're of this caliber. So it's that simple.
So I think that there is a fracture in the organizational structure. For example, Flacco won a Super Bowl year 4, if I'm not mistaken, because remember, he got a Super Bowl before he got paid in year 5 off his rookie deal.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson going into year 4 now. Flacco 10-5 in the playoffs, sir. Last I checked, isn't Lamar Jackson 1-2 or 1-3? All I'm saying is this. Flacco won his Super Bowl, and then he got paid that dumb money. I think he had record-setting money.
Yeah, he did.
I'm not comparing Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson as an individual quarterback. But what I'm saying is this. You pay a guy big-time money to succeed collectively. So, I come on this show. And you know I come on this show, you know you make significantly more money than me. It's problematic, but it's true.
I was here first, like Flacco. Hey, I'm not better.
But here's the kicker. They didn't bring me on the show to win individual Emmys. They didn't bring me on this show for an individual highlight reel. They brought me on this show to collectively increase the success of the show. So I can sit here and brag about my individual accolades till I'm blue in the face. I can throw my individual Emmys behind me and the Zooms and all that stuff. But they don't pay me, nor in theory do they pay you for individual success or individual accolades. They pay you and they pay me so we can collectively succeed. Lamar Jackson should be paid based on Dak being paid. But if it's all about collective success, don't you think we should see more, or at least not see Lamar Jackson be a reason we're not seeing collective success?
Man, I just don't understand it. Two things. One, would you have paid John Elway ever? Because you know it took him to like a year 6. It took him long. It took him our lifetime. What do you mean it took him long? It took him like twice my career. I played 10 years. It took him like 20 years. 15, 16 years before he finally got what you said you have to have if you're getting paid. You wouldn't pay John Elway? Interesting. You would have been a good agent. Good general manager, probably even better. Let me poke at this before we get out of here, because it's such an interesting, rich topic. I know we got to move on, but you always say something about life in terms of its complexities and how difficult it is. And I'll finally have the moment. I finally have the moment where I'm going to challenge that.
Please.
Life is simple, but difficult. I'm going to repeat it. Life is simple, but difficult. What's simple about life is we all know what we need to do if we want to climb that mountain.
Yes, sir.
Whatever that goal is, whatever that endeavor is, right? But it's difficult to always subscribe to the commitment, discipline, and focus it takes to climb that mountain.
Yes, sir.
So what is basically that coach saying, you know what to do. Don't come up to me acting like you don't know what to do. You just don't always want to do it. When I look at a guy like Lamar Jackson, it's simple. What's going to happen with him? He's going to continue to evolve, like Jim Mora Jr. said. You know why? Because they have to evolve. He's already shown too many flashes of brilliance to sit there and idly let his career go by. He's going to continue to challenge this offense, continue to challenge defenses in a way that we don't see another quarterback challenge him. Jim Mora Jr. said in the article, you don't have any idea as a defensive coordinator what it takes to try and contain Lamar Jackson. It's just different, big dog. And since it's different, his money has to be different as well. I can't hear Dak conversations, Deshaun conversations, and then hear Lamar Jackson conversation and hear people refute his worth, his value, and what he's earned. Deshaun would trade his career with Lamar Jackson.
All day.
He should.
All day.
Dak, you too, even though you don't want to trade teams, you just want to trade careers. So the point is, the man's earned the money. Just show him the money. Coming up, Draymond Green. Spicy chicken sandwiches time now. Draymond Green grabs the mic and called out the NBA's youth. Oh, man. We'll tell you if we have a problem with him calling them soft. I mean soft. That's next. Don't speak for yourself.
For the first time ever, it's a WrestleMania edition of SmackDown on Fox.
Legacies are born and evolution will be complete.
It all kicks off with a fatal four-way for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
Oh, man!
And then it's the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Oh, my goodness!
WrestleMania edition of SmackDown, Friday at 8 Eastern, only on Fox.
Fox is kicking off the weekend with a special WrestleMania edition of SmackDown. You have the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match and the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
But Marcellus, that's not it. Superstars like Roman Reigns and Sasha Banks, they're getting ready for WrestleMania. So make sure you check it all out tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
Oh, yeah, brother. They still do that? All right, let's move on to the NBA. I love that.
You're going to break this desk.
Break my elbow. We all know Draymond Green speaks his mind. Well, this time around on a recent appearance on Kevin Durant's podcast, Draymond Green called out the NBA's young players. Take a listen.
They soft as hell. Man, I found myself this year trying to talk to some of these young dudes that won't talk. And they like trying to be a friend.
Yeah.
But that's what these young dudes do nowadays, man. I don't understand it.
Joined down by Fox NBA analyst Slick Rick the Bucher. But Acho, I see it. I can't tell it's coming. Do you have a problem with Draymond Green calling today's young players soft?
Bruh, Draymond Green got louder when his game got quiet.
Ooh.
Like, the more quiet his game got, the louder Draymond got. And let's not disrespect Draymond Green. He's accomplished a ton in his career. But here's my issue, big dog. Across all sports, just because you talk noise don't make you hard. And just because you don't talk noise don't make you soft. Sometimes the cats that be the most quiet be the ones you really got to worry about. You don't matter what sport. Draymond, you don't even have to search far and wide. Steph Curry, the reason that Draymond, you are as relevant as you are, if relevant at all, what's the hardest thing he's ever done? Thrown his mouthpiece to the score table? Shimmy in front of an opponent? What's the hardest thing Klay ever done? Klay Thompson don't really talk trash. Klay Thompson don't really talk, at least not publicly. So just because you talk trash don't make you hard, and just because you don't talk trash don't make you soft. My real issue is this, like, Draymond got to remember and just put everything in context, big dog, because pride comes before the fall. Remember Steph and Klay, they the real reason Draymond is relevant. Let's be real. Draymond, without Steph and Klay, his career is very comparable to Joakim Noah. Joakim Noah was a dog in his own right. They both got one Defensive Player of the Year. Both made a couple All-Star teams. Draymond's 3, Joakim Noah's 2. Both were all-defensive team. Joakim Noah was 3, Draymond 5. But, like, Draymond, the reason you're even that relevant is because of 2 dudes, Steph and Klay, who don't even talk. So by your metric, by your value system of being hard, Steph and Klay soft. But Steph and Klay made you, you. So that's my real issue. That's my real problem with everything Draymond said. Damn.
All good points, and I agree with all of that, or almost all of that, but I'm going to go in a different direction because I don't have a problem with Draymond Green saying that today's players are soft because they are. The game today is soft. But it's a little bit like I would point out that Acho is not wearing a jacket today and showing off his guns. That's obvious. Everybody sees it. The question is, why is the league soft? Why is Acho showing off his guns? Now you're giving me something. And the problem is that if Draymond were honest about why the game is soft, he would point out that it's the 2 most powerful entities involved in the league, and that is the NBA and the way they legislate, and LeBron James, his business partner and who I would assume former adversary and now friend, which means that Draymond Green himself is a contributing factor to the softness of the game today. There was once upon a time, this is the same Draymond Green who back in the 2017 finals was taking a swing at LeBron James' sensitive parts because they were in full competition. Ultimately cost him a suspension and some people would suggest a title. They're now business partners. They now share the same agent. They are certainly not the same adversaries that they once were. He and Kevin Durant aren't playing together, but they're boys on a podcast chopping it up. Yes, former teammates. But Draymond Green himself is demonstrating why the league is soft and why these players are soft. They've been conditioned to be soft, both by the way the league officiates and by the way LeBron James is recruiting every adversary that he could possibly have to play with him. For all the success that LeBron James has had, if I'm a young player, I'd say, well, I should do the same thing. It's worked for him.
Damn. Love all of this, and I got to pour on some gravy on these mashed potatoes that we over here cooking up right now because Draymond, man, dog, you in the NBA. People ain't there for all that smoke that you want. It's crazy that Draymond thinks that. So Draymond says he's talking trash to everybody, and they don't respond now. You know why they don't respond? Because they don't respect who's saying it. Dog, if people don't talk back to you, doesn't mean they weak. Maybe they just don't want to hear it from you because you can't get under their skin because they like you can't get the ball in the hoop. Like, it's crazy if you look at the top players in NBA history and the real G's move in silence like lasagna. I don't see the most gangster of players when I look at Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Kareem. Now I see different elements of mental toughness, but hard versus soft? Like, what are you using as your measurements, Draymond? It's crazy. So it just takes me back to examples like growing up. You imagine, just as Draymond. Draymond comes home from school, first day of school, and talking to his parents. They're like, so how was school, son? He's like, man, it was whack. I didn't like it. Why? Man, I went to class, everybody was focused and studying and trying to pay attention and answer questions. Like, yeah, that's what they're supposed to be doing. What the hell are you doing there? Oh, man, I'm over here trying to get under people's skin, barking at them. They ain't barking back. Like, Draymond, no one is there in the NBA for all that. No one signed up at the NBA draft said, yeah, I'm looking to be the hard guy. And it's funny because in natural selection of all sports, the hard guys are the softest one in terms of talent. The hardest ones are not the ones that can go out there and do it all and let their game speak for yourself. Why act tough when I'm about to shoot your lights out?
Facts.
You got to act tough when you ain't going to shoot your lights out. You actually going to act like you're going to shoot me. And I'm like, dog, we just here for some basketball. In my world, we just here to play some football. So it's pretty see-through when I see Draymond trying to be the tough guy. You know, growing up, I saw so many bullies, and I never got punked unless they had a weapon. I did 2 times, got jacked. But other than that, I used to laugh at them when they used to come up and be real tough on the offensive. You know why? Because I knew they were just trying to flee that pain they had in their heart. They wasn't really hard. They weren't really tough. They was just somebody who was trying to escape some hardships and some pain. Draymond, you know what your hardships and pain is? That the game is passing you by, and you can't get it. So now you're going to try and bark it. Good luck with that.
Hit a thing, Sal. You hitting the nail on the head, big dog.
Like
you would say, say me some of the ribs.
Say me some of the ribs.
Say me some of typically, you only got to act hard at times if you're trying to overcompensate for something.
Yes, sir.
Like if you're trying to overcompensate for an issue, well, now you got to act hard because your game not talking. Draymond used to average 14, 10, and 8, y'all, just about 4 years ago. And now he averages 6, 6, and 7. And so Draymond is looking around like, hey, I have to find a way to continue to stay relevant. But the other thing is, like, Slick, you brought up a point several minutes ago that the game has gotten soft. And like, the game was never meant to be hard. The game was meant to be entertaining. The game was meant to be talent-ridden. But, like, the game wasn't inherently successful because it was hard. Like, maybe you could argue football, right? Like, now that you can't just jack people up anymore, going across the middle, blindside guys. But, like, that was never the objective of the sport. The objective of basketball, the objective of even football wasn't just to go around just trying to be the hardest you can be. The objective was to score points and to entertain. So even if the game of basketball has gotten soft, if you will, what are they losing? I submit nothing at all.
Well, this is where it gets muddled because he's talking about, trash talk with guys as a reflection of being soft or hard, and we're talking about the physicality of the game. I would say that the game has gotten soft on both ends. The NBA has snuffed the competitive spirit or players' ability to be emotional and to talk a little trash and to have those exchanges, which I think is an important element of the game. But that has been legislated ultimately out of it. And look, we're stepping all over Draymond. And you said that he wouldn't be relevant without Steph or Clay. Look, I got to give him his flowers. He was an important part of making Steph and Clay what they are, too, because he was the defensive backbone of those teams. Fair. And his being a vocal leader was important because those guys were not. And he backed it up with his play. So we got to acknowledge that he was an important, vital part of those championships. The problem is that he's equating this talking trash now with ultimately being fierce on the floor. And I had to bring a full screen in here because this is Draymond Green's track record when it comes to technical fouls as far as where the league is. Now, look at this list. Number 1, for the last 5 years, Draymond Green has been in the top 6. This is not an outlier. This is basically where he's resided. But look at all the names on that list. 1, they all play physical. 2, they're not shy about speaking their minds on the floor. Luka Doncic may be the youngest guy on there, but he's got an old school type game and he plays physical. But there's no equation between this and success. I mean, Draymond Green's not having success because he's getting technicals. Dwight Howard's not playing better this year with Philadelphia because he's leading the league in tees. John Wall, Russell Westbrook, I can go down the line. All of these guys, Draymond Green included, because of the way the league calls the game, are being penalized for being vocal and for talking trash and for being outwardly emotional. So Draymond literally cost the Warriors a game this year by getting technicals at the end of the game because he was running his mouth. So if the players today are not engaging with him, it's not necessarily because they're soft, it's because they're smart.
But even slick, but real quick before Sel chimes in, you bring up a great point, big dog. Like, wouldn't you argue that Draymond, in theory, has cost his team more than he's accumulated for his team because he's hard? Many people say
because he's talking to other teams. Yes.
Many people, Slick, say that if Draymond doesn't get suspended for Game 5, maybe all of a sudden the Warriors would have an additional chip and never would have lost to the Cavs. So, like, Draymond, it's all about working smarter, not harder, big dog. So be hard all you want. But typically, being hard don't guarantee no success. In fact, it's probably an indicator of failure.
Yeah, man, being hard doesn't make you any better. And if you're soft, it doesn't mean you're sorry, dog. It's just crazy right here. Like, evolve and grow. We keep using that block after block. But evolve and grow. It kind of reminds me of the NFL players that were all out there griping when they changed the target area to make the game safer. Oh, man, what we gonna do, man? I don't learn how to hit all my life a different way. I can't learn that overnight. I bet you will. You know why I know you will? Because they're gonna take all your money away from you until you figure it out. And guess what? Overnight, basically, most of them figured it out. Stop with all this, like this whole aura of machismo just to act like you better than you are. It's crazy. So, the NBA's not soft right now. I hate when people say that. I got on a podcast about 2 weeks ago, and they tried to box me in with that. I was like, I don't think these athletes today are soft. And the NBA game is not that soft. It's just not as hard as it was when it was too damn hard. That's what we're dealing with right now in this situation. I got Acho over here choking right here. And the goal is to be a great player, not anti-soft. So I just don't understand it, what's going on with Draymond Green and these guys. But, hey, if you got to audition for TNT, sometimes you got to go out there and hit them where it hurts. Coming up, Tua's teammate is expecting a big jump from him. We'll tell you if this is a make-or-break season for Tua. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Hey, I do that, Draymond, at Fox. Let's head to Miami. Let's head to Miami, where Tua called his rookie season, quote, below average. Dolphins quarterback was 6-3 as a starter, but he was near the bottom in the league in touchdown passes and yards. Tua's teammate Byron Jones, Byron Jones has big expectations, saying, quote, what we saw last year was great from him, but we expect a big jump. Keep in mind, the Dolphins have 5 first-round picks in the next 3 drafts. So, Acho, is this a make-or-break season for Tua?
It is make-or-break for Tua, and I don't think it's right, but I think it's real. So before anyone ever gets tried by the actual decision makers, you get tried by the court of public opinion.
You do.
You do. Before you ever get tried by those that are important, you get tried by your peers. And right now, Tua's currently being tried, and the court of public opinion is wrestling with, is he guilty for being sorry, or is he guilty for not being good enough? And so it has to be make or break for Tua because public opinion is currently trying to figure things out. Now, why are they wrestling? Because they saw Tua versus the Oakland Raiders. They saw 48 plays, 9 drives, 13 points in roughly 50 minutes. Then they saw Ryan Fitzpatrick, 19 plays, 3 drives, 13 points in roughly 10 minutes. Ryan Fitzpatrick gets the ball back, 18 seconds left, leads his team down the field to win that game and beat the Las Vegas Raiders in order to keep the Miami Dolphins' playoff hopes alive. Tua is already being tried in the court of public opinion for not being good enough. I think this year he'll be tried by the actual decision makers and Brian Flores. I think now the actual decision makers are going to look at Tua and be like, wait now, how good are you really? Again, I said I don't think it is fair, but I think that it is real. Comparison is a thief of all joy.
It steals it.
Comparison is the thief of all. I be feeling good about myself and my life. Then I come up here, I sit next to this man and be like, man, he had 2 contracts. Got to get back to work, Hacho. Right? Because comparison, it'll rob you of your joy. If you're the Dolphins fans and you look at Tua, you're like, oh, we Gucci. 6-3 as a starter, nearly making the playoffs. We ain't won 10 games like that in a while. But then you say, wait a second. Man, Joe Burrow, he set a rookie record for most 400-yard passing games. Man, Justin Herbert, the other quarterback who was drafted early, he won NFL Rookie of the Year, 25, 27 passing touchdowns at the quarterback position, and all we got is Tua. Because comparison will steal your joy. I think comparison has stolen Dolphins fans' joy. He's being tried in the court of public opinion. Soon he's going to be tried by those that actually matter.
Strong take. I can't lie with it. And you're right. It's unfair, but it's really happening. That's why people are so stupid. Like think about it. I love when people go somewhere and say the culture is messed up, or they are messed up, or this is messed up. But all that is just an aggregation of all of y'all, including me. So when people point, I'm like, dog, they talking about us. Who in the hell in the court of public opinion is thinking that Tua is not that dude? You are ignorant, whoever you are. That's why I don't care about the court of public opinion. You know why? Because I realized it was early in my broadcasting career, and I started to realize everything was so binary. I say Jets gonna win, the Patriot fans hate me. I say the Patriots gonna win, the Jets fans hate me. Then I started realizing who's really hate me. Oh, the dude that just parked my car? Like, I'm not trying to sun your occupation, but I'm sunning your acumen if you're gonna sit there and just try to come at me all the time. Sometimes you gotta know who is talking before you listen. Bar. Now, here's the thing. Who in the hell is saying Tua sorry when literally he should have walked into the NFL with the most equity maybe of any college quarterback ever? Why? Because he was the most efficient quarterback ever in college football history, hands down. But more so, maybe top 5 statistically in terms of what he was able to do on the field. Now, you don't think that Tua is in a position to succeed? Yes, he is. Why? He's 6-3 as a starter. What does that mean? Since Dak Prescott, any quarterback with at least 8 starts, no one's had a better rookie season than Tua. Okay, yeah, I don't want to go there. That's too sorry. How about this? Why y'all trusting the court of public opinion? And why y'all trusting the Miami Dolphins to tell y'all which way is up in terms of a quarterback assessment or any player assessment? I remind you, the Dolphins have had 22 different starting quarterbacks since 2000. Marino's last season was 99. I remind you that they have not had a quarterback selected to the Pro Bowl since 95. I remind you that they told me Ryan Tannehill was sorry. Which way is up, Miami? They told me Kenyon Drake was sorry. Jarvis Landry wasn't so good. Okay. How about Wes Welker? Y'all even forgot about Wes Welker? Like, stop. Miami is just like a diving board. Like you jump, spring up in the air, and splash into some greatness. Because Miami right now, the same Miami Dolphins that in the last 15 years have had 3 winning seasons. And if you take away Tua's winning season last year, 2 in the last 14 years. Come on, big dog. Stop shooting that Tua, especially with nonsense.
What's crazy is, like, I agree wholeheartedly with your take. Your take is real in that Tua should not be in a make-or-break season. But I think the problem is that's the league we live in now, Sales. Like, all it takes is one bad year. Look no further than Carson Wentz.
What bad year?
All it takes. I'm saying this is the one.
Okay.
You feel me? Like, all it takes. Bruh, you've taught me that, like, you should have equity. Coaches have equity. I don't know that quarterbacks do. Aaron Rodgers had 25 passing touchdowns, 26 passing touchdowns in back-to-back years, and they drafted his replacement in the 3rd year. That is Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers, who's won you a Super Bowl, who keeps you in Super Bowl contention, who's a first-ballot Hall of Famer, and the Packers saw him struggle. Not even struggle, because 26 touchdowns and 4 picks is not struggling. But they saw Aaron Rodgers have 26 touchdowns, 4 picks, and they said, yeah, it might be time to replace you. Bruh, imagine what they're going to do with Tua. They saw Carson Wentz lead his team to the playoffs 3 years, lead his team to the playoffs where they win a Super Bowl, 1 terrible year, and they're like, can't do it with you. Jared Goff, he was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. He led his team back from in a playoffs this year, beat the Seahawks, weren't supposed to win that game, and they shipped him off. I don't like it, but it's the world we live in where Tua, you got to understand, you don't have nearly enough equity to struggle this year. They probably got to win. Honestly, they probably got to make the playoffs if we being real, Sale. Like, Tua probably has to play well, and they probably have to make the playoffs for him to be safe. Remember, they got 2 first-round picks next year that they can use to trade up.
What the hell are we talking about here?
The truth.
I don't talk down to people. I tell them they need to talk up to me if you feel like you down there, because I'm not going down there and then trying to justify why we down here. Let's talk about how we could keep climbing in terms of what we're talking about. This is stupid. Like, this is really stupid. He is 6-3, and people are like, I don't know. That's twice as many wins than Peyton Manning had his rookie year. Also, Josh Allen was 5-6 as a rookie with 10 touchdowns and 12 picks. And I ain't hear anybody's like, I don't know about Josh Allen. I certainly didn't hear anybody say, I don't know about Peyton Manning. Why Tua? Because nice guys really do finish last? Are we really trying to do that to Tua? I don't see it, dog. The Dolphins quarterbacks that have made all of these starts, 22 of them since 2000, who's had the best win percentage, the best record? Tua, 6-3 of all the 22 guys, and I can start naming. You don't want all of that. So why are you trying to justify this senselessness?
I'm trying to justify it. I'm trying to explain it, right? It's hard to justify it, but I'm trying to explain it because I don't agree with it, but let me explain it. You say Josh Allen, this rookie year, he was terrible. But the thing you and I have both agreed upon is comparison is a thief of joy.
I didn't say terrible. I said 5-6.
It's 5-6. He wasn't
sound terrible, though.
But comparison is a thief of joy. Who are the quarterbacks Josh Allen's rookie year? Baker Mayfield. He didn't really do nothing crazy. Sam Darnold. He didn't really do nothing crazy. Lamar Jackson was the one, but Lamar Jackson, remember, he didn't even start until week 10.
Yep.
So you weren't even comparing Lamar Jackson to Josh Allen until week 10. Whereas Tua this year, you see Justin Herbert throw for 31 touchdowns. And you see Joe Burrow throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. You see them both set rookie records in their own right. One a collective one an individual one. And then you look at Tua and you're like, man, you out here getting bent for Fitzpatrick? Come on, bruh. I genuinely think it's a comparison thing. If Herbert would have struggled and Burrow would have struggled more, we'd be chilling on Tua. Hey. But Tua's everybody looking at Herbert and looking at Burrow and like, man, all we got is Tua.
What were their records again? What were the Chargers record? My Chargers record?
I feel you.
What do you want to do with the Cincinnati record again? What you want to say? Like, comparison is a thief of joy. True. But I use comparison as competition. Like, I trust me, every night I go home and think about you in good ways and bad ways. And the ways that you are better than me, I'm always trying to close that gap. And the ways that I got you, I'm trying to extend that gap.
I can tell you've been working out.
Hell yeah, I was fat before you got here. I saw you two shows it took me. I said, oh, no.
Hey, this is a true story,
This is a true story, yeah. Look, I ride with the Tide. My last co-host, I rode with him. And now I'm riding with, look at the muscles. Hell no, you ain't gonna get me. So comparison is competition in the Wiley mindset. Here we go. Let's look at this, my last point. Remember Dave Wanstead? Remember him? Yeah, head coach. Yeah, good dude. Last head coach to win a playoff game with them. That was in 2000, big dog. That's when I was still playing. That's when I was on my first contract. Why is Miami allowed the equity to judge a Tua when Tua, as a quarterback, has been a savior, or at least a godsend, to a franchise that doesn't usually see winning records? Makes sense of it. Coming up, LeBron and AD are both out right now. They're gone. We'll tell you which superstar is more important to the Lakers' success when they return. That's next. Don't speak for yourself.
Welcome back. The Lakers lost to the Heat last night, and once again, their superstars, LeBron and Anthony Davis, could only watch. LA is 4-6 since LeBron's injury and are the 5th seed in the West. Reports said LeBron could be out till the end of the month, and AD could return next week, but head coach Frank Vogel said yesterday there was no update on a timeline. Our guy, Slick Rick, NBA analyst, is back with us. Woo. But Marcellus, who's more important to the Lakers' success? Is it LeBron or AD?
It's Anthony Davis. It's AD. Now, let me grade myself so far on my show's performance because I've been really excited on some of these topics. So let me, woosah. Oh, man, let me not be so emotional and let me be logical about this one because I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way. All right, LeBron James has been a Laker for now. This is his 3rd year, but 2 years prior to this season, right? Let's talk about that first year. How did it turn out for LeBron James without AD? Remember that 37-45 record and they missed the playoffs? I do. And then all of a sudden, LeBron James trying to, bring the refrigerator up the stairs with the dolly by himself, carried his team to the playoffs, messed his legs up, had his most catastrophic injury up to date at that point, and misses the playoffs. Oh, y'all forgot about the tweet, huh? He was activating the team after coming back from injury. Yeah, remember that? Playoff mode, LeBron activated. Delete that tweet because they didn't make the playoffs that year. But then AD is sitting there at the bottom of the stairwell looking at LeBron struggling. Say, man, I'll come out there and help you out, big dog. I'll help you get that refrigerator up the stairs. What happened the next year? 52-19 in the regular season and won the NBA Finals. Oh, that's called impact. That's called having an effect. Now, people are going to say, it's still LeBron. Yeah, we both know that they need LeBron and AD. But if you're going to make me decide, I'm going to have to say AD because I looked at that playoff run in the bubble and realized, damn, AD had more points per game than LeBron. Okay, whatever. He had a higher field goal percentage, too, than LeBron. Well, he's big. He should. He also shot better from the three-point line than LeBron. Oh, wait a minute. And his plus-minus was better than LeBron. So if you make me really have to go out there and split hairs and say which one is more important for this team, it's the guy that also has defensive presence just by stature alone. It's Anthony Davis.
Sel, I see that you brought your feelings into a factual
Those were numbers. Come on, baby.
Don't do this, Sel. It's too easy. I'm going to keep this one quick, slick. If you want to elaborate, please do, but there ain't going to be much left to elaborate on because it's very simple. LeBron James has been to 9 out of the last 10 NBA Finals with or without Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has one career player, well, prior to LeBron James, had one career playoff series win. He's won 5 playoff games prior to LeBron James. Meanwhile, LeBron without AD has 35 career playoff series wins, 156 career playoff games. Sel, it's not even apples to apples. Like, do the Lakers need them both? Absolutely. But if you can only have one, take the man in LeBron James who has scored and assisted cumulatively on 44 points a game, whereas AD, he only attributes to 29 points per game for the Lakers, barely above Dennis Schroeder. If you're talking about who do you need most imminently, it's easily LeBron James. LeBron without AD, the Lakers were still kept afloat. LeBron without AD, the Lakers were still 7-4, if I am not mistaken. Excuse me, they were 11-7. They were still making some noise. But now, you ain't got no LeBron James. It's as if the entire team is becoming incompetent. So it's really not much of a discussion, nor is it much of a conversation. If you only had one, you need LeBron James. Stop.
Celis, you know I love the nerd in you. You know that.
Nerd!
But sometimes the numbers let you down. And in a case like this, it's lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Yes.
And here's the problem. Yes, Anthony Davis, and I've heard this argument from other people about last year, about my belief that LeBron James deserved MVP. It was, how can he be the MVP? He wasn't the MVP of his team because Anthony Davis had better numbers. Ooh. You know, I went back and looked at Anthony Davis at age 25 compared to Kevin Love, age 25. You know who had the better numbers? Kevin Love. You know who was neither one of them was winning with those big numbers? Kevin Love and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis didn't do anything until he got with LeBron James. Now, what this reminds me of, now, let's be honest, the Lakers aren't winning another championship unless they have both of them.
Correct.
And I would say that at this stage in LeBron James's career, he needs a player like Anthony Davis. There's no lie to that. But that said, Anthony Davis had never accomplished anything with those great numbers, and he actually had better numbers in New Orleans, but they weren't ultimately winning numbers. LeBron James is the intangible here, as without question, he's the leader. He's the number one playmaker. The numbers, the one number that we're accepting here are the fact that are assists and turnovers. Anthony Davis doesn't make plays for other guys to score the way LeBron James does. So when I put it all together, those two need to be together in order for the Lakers to win. But this reminds me of when Dwayne Wade handed the keys over to LeBron after that first year, and then Kobe Bryant, 2008, realized he couldn't get it done by himself. He had to lean on Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom. Derek Fisher ultimately won another championship. That's where LeBron is. He needs Anthony Davis. But if you're asking me who the Lakers need more, it's not close. It's LeBron James.
Oh, I'm going to use your words against you, Big Slick Rick. One, reading is fundamental, y'all. You know that the question says Lakers success. And I had two subjects that I struggled with in school. Yeah, I did. One was handwriting. I got like a D in handwriting. I remember like in the 3rd grade. I was like, whatever. Ain't nobody gonna look at my transcripts from the 3rd grade. But then I got a little older, and I used to struggle with history. Not because I couldn't read, not because I couldn't memorize facts from like years ago. It's just because it wasn't interesting to me. I like look forward, not backwards. So I had a little conflict in terms of philosophy. Those are my only two subjects I struggle with. But I'm also struggling listening to Slick Rick and listening to Acho because they keep giving me history, the thing I hate. You know why? At age 25, what was AD doing? I don't give a damn what he was doing. I know what he was doing with the Lakers. Y'all are tripping. And then here go Acho talking about, well, 10 years of LeBron James in the finals. And what the hell that got to do with the Lakers? Because when LeBron James was with the Lakers by himself, no AD, how'd that go?
All right, hold on.
How'd that go? How'd that go?
Get him,
Acho.
We were
Acho, can I take this?
before you
Acho,
got
can I
hurt.
take this?
Please.
Yeah, take it.
Please let me take this.
You're going to take it and going to get it.
Well, number one, yes, you're absolutely right. They were what, 4th, 5th seed? They were beating the Warriors on Christmas
seed.
Day before LeBron James got hurt. You keep beating him over the head with that first
He came
year
back.
when he was
You know
with
he
a bunch
came
of
back
young
that year.
players.
You know he came back that year. How that turned out with the playoff activated mode tweet.
Yeah. He came back, he played with the injury, and then he realized, you know what? I don't have the dogs around me to get this done. There ain't no shame in looking at I don't have what's necessary to get it done. I need to go get Anthony Davis.
Yes.
But you're confusing LeBron James needing an Anthony Davis with the Lakers collectively being better with Anthony Davis than LeBron James. You can't make that comparison. And I'm not going to go back. I'll go forward. I'll go to the present, even better than future and potential and all that.
Yes.
Appreciated that under 25 conversation you guys had, by the way. I was listening.
My dog.
Here's the thing.
What?
This was the year for Anthony Davis to say, thank you, LeBron. You showed me how this championship thing happens.
Talk about
You showed me how this leadership thing happens. You know what? You're 36 years old. We'll save you for the end. I got this. What did he do this year?
He
took a monumental step back. Everybody's been asking about what the hell's wrong with Anthony Davis this year. It's because he ain't that guy. You can set the example, but if you're not made of that stuff, you can't copy it. And that's what we've learned about Anthony Davis, and that's why LeBron James is more important to this Lakers team than ever.
LeBron James never accomplished a damn thing with the Lakers without Anthony Davis. And you know that because I was in L.A. hearing everybody say, I remember everybody was saying, hey, I know LeBron is not taking the torch from Kobe like this. And I remember that. But it's funny you say LeBron gets a pass that year because of injury, but this year, Anthony doesn't get a pass this year because of injury. And I remind you, this same year, Anthony Davis is
injured at the beginning of the year?
Hey, bruh, whatever it is, it's still an injury. And he's still, this year, averaging more rebounds, game, blocks per game, shooting a higher percentage from the field than LeBron James, even in that small
I would
sample
suggest
size.
the injury's not a factor.
No, I'm using you against you, and I'm going to use you against you again because you gave me two examples. Boy, I love debating. You told me Kobe looked around and said, I got to go get me Pau Gasol. Okay. And then all of a sudden they won 2 championships. You're right. And then Wade looked around and said, I need to get me somebody else. LeBron James, let's do this. Okay. Pau Gasol was never in the conversation of contention of being better than Kobe Bryant. We saw that by the numbers. We saw that by the performances, correct? So let's cross Pau Gasol out. But what about LeBron James with Dwayne Wade sitting there? And Dwayne Wade sitting there and brings in LeBron, and LeBron starts to outpace Dwayne Wade in every statistical category, including performance, correct? Yes, that is Anthony Davis. LeBron James is now Rose. He went to the Dwayne Wade role, brought somebody in who actually has greater impact and actually has better numbers than him. And you tell me now, who had a better career? LeBron or D-Wade?
Sellers.
You in trouble. You used it. You used it.
You have forgotten that I have read your book. And who was the man who taught you how to get it done? And even at the point where physically you were better than he was, right?
Yeah.
But it was the knowledge and the know-how and the understanding of when to do it and how to do it that puts you over the top.
Okay.
Don't tell me that doesn't make a difference. That is the same equation here. AD can do it.
Equation.
He needs somebody to show him how.
got you.
Hold on. First of all, my book, I know it's supposed to be an
I'm
autobiography.
calling Bruce right now. I'm going to get confirmation.
Hey, that was fiction. That wasn't an autobiography. That was fiction, that part, just that one chapter. Here we go. Now, you got me a little bit on that. Little Nick, but I'm still here, homeboy. Let me tell you this. Let's use the Brady-Belichick calculator that Acho always brings out. Because you want to talk about, whoa, what's the difference in these two guys? Acho loves to look at a situation and show impact by saying, hey, Belichick, who are you without Brady? As a Laker, I'm going to ask the same question to LeBron James. Hey, King, as a Laker, who are you without Anthony Davis? Ding, 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 round over. Coming up, is it a bad look for the Jets if Sam Darnold balls out in Carolina? We'll answer that next on Speak for Yourself. And again, Jets traded Sam Darnold to the Panthers, but there does not appear to be any bad feelings, at least from New York's side. The Jets are expected to draft Zach Wilson as their new quarterback, and their GM is not worried about how he'll look with trading Darnold. Joe Douglas said, whether I look bad or not, I could give two bleeps about that. I see you, Joe. I know that he's going to have success. Timing didn't really work out for him here. We couldn't turn this thing around fast enough for him, Reid Wiley, and that's not his fault. I root for good people, and that dude's a good man, and he's going to do good things. I believe that. So, Acho, is it a bad look for the Jets if Sam Darnold balls out in Carolina?
Not at all, big dog. It
No?
doesn't matter what you miss out on in life as long as you succeed. You feel me? Like, it don't matter. It don't matter what you miss out on in life as long as you
didn't see
succeed.
that coming.
I was talking to a GM one day, and he was talking about the first round of the draft, and what he told me was this. I don't care about the picks I miss on as long as the ones I draft hit. NBA, y'all know some NBA. Let's talk NBA to the NBA fans. The Rockets passed on Michael Jordan, as did the Trailblazers. Eventually, the Bulls eventually he winds up with the Bulls, right? The Rockets probably weren't really tripping as much that they passed on Jordan because they still ended up getting Hakeem Olajuwon, who still brought them 2 chips and who still ends up being a generational talent, who still ends up being an icon, and who still ends up being a figurehead both overseas and domestically.
Okay.
Whereas the Trailblazers who drafted Bowie, they was probably tripping a little bit more because they like, wait a second now. Not only did we not draft Jordan, we didn't draft anybody who made us ease off the pain of not having Jordan. So if you're talking about the Jets, it doesn't matter that they let go of Sam Darnold as long as Zach Wilson or whoever they draft balls. It don't matter what happens elsewhere as long as you succeed. And my lap relationally, Sal.
Oh, here we go.
You was engaged 3, 4, 5.
Second hand, use both hands.
You're engaged 4 times.
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, big dog, congrats to all of them and whatever they doing in their lives. It don't matter what they got going in their life because look at you. You succeeded. Now, if you would have been out here single in these streets,
hanging with your ass,
lonely in these streets, and they happily married, beautiful families, white picket fence, you'd probably be looking around like, man, I messed that up, man. Like, dang, I let go of a good one. But it don't even matter if they winning because you winning. Same thing with the Jets. It don't matter if Sam Darnold wins as long as they win.
Oh, well, I disagree with your answer. It doesn't matter. I think it does matter. But it's funny. I'm going to use you against you. Because you're saying in this situation, it doesn't matter what happens. But then you tell me it's a bad look for Belichick if Tom Brady goes out there and wins a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay like he did. So Darnold winning somewhere else is not...
Because Belichick didn't win.
Oh, because Belichick
didn't win
Well, there's only one winner. Oh, okay, I get you. Okay, makes sense of that. All right, here's the thing. And I don't check my ex's Instagrams anymore. I stopped last night. Let me stop. Boy, they struggling. Now, let me stop. They all living their good life as I am. I wish them well. Here's the thing I want to say right now. I don't give a damn how poetic Joe Douglas sounds right now in terms of, oh, man, that's a good dude and a great thing. It just didn't work out here. You know, we couldn't turn this thing fast enough around for him. Well, if you were really rooting for him like you say you were, if you really believed in him like you say you are right now, then he wouldn't be gone. And think about why is he gone right now when he shouldn't be gone in the first place. Here's a full screen. Let's get to it. All right, these are the Jets with Sam Darnold. And look at the Jets without Sam Darnold. Now, everybody can look at it with Sam Darnold and say, damn, that's not that good, 13-25. I remind you that when Sam Darnold is not the Jets quarterback, donuts. I mean, Krispy Kreme hot light on for the New York Football Jets. But Zach Wilson's going to save the day. Interesting. You can look at all the other statistical categories. My point is, they once again didn't measure properly the impact that Sam Darnold was having or give him enough runway for the growth and potential growth that could have occurred on their watch. Now watch Sam Darnold go to Carolina and ball out, and don't act like that's a good thing, because that could have been a great thing if you would have kept him in-house. Got to bring in Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks. Bucky, is it a bad look for the Jets if Sam Darnold balls out in Carolina?
Absolutely, it's a bad look.
Thank you.
It's a bad look for the organization because they gave up multiple picks to get Darnold to make him the third overall pick in the 2018 draft. They gave up 3-2, 2 in 1 year, another one in the following year. That's a lot of capital. Those second-round picks typically turn into starters. And so not only did you give up a lot of draft capital for a quarterback who didn't work for you, but you now have traded away the quarterback at a depreciated rate. And here's the thing about it. And talking to a former Jets coach, I asked, man, what was the deal with Sam Darnold? They say, man, we messed this one up. The coach put too much on Sam Darnold's plate. He couldn't handle it. There was a time where they took it off his plate right around the middle of 2019. For 6 games, 6 out of 8 games they won. He played the best football of his career. They go back to doing all the other stuff, put all the responsibilities on his plate last year, and he faltered. So it might be some of Sam Darnold's fault in terms of not playing at a high level, but this is more of a nurture thing than nature thing. They didn't nurture him the way that he needed to be nurtured to max out his potential. And if he goes to Carolina and balls out, everyone will know that the Jets messed this one up.
Yeah, the Jets messed this up, man. One, you got to draft at that position again after you already went and drafted at that position. Didn't give the guy enough runway to finish the deal. It's silly. And then make him the reason, make him the scapegoat when you're one of only 3 teams since Sam Darnold's been in the NFL without a single, not a single one offensive player making the Pro Bowl. Come on, man. Y'all gonna put this on Sam Darnold? This is silly. Last 5 years, you haven't seen a skill position player on the Jets make the Pro Bowl. But it's on Sam Darnold. Gonna see how that plays out. Coming up, Trey Lance can be a top 3 pick. We'll tell you if he's worth the hype. That's next. Don't speak for yourself.
Former North Dakota State QB Trey Lance has only started 1 season in college, but reports say he could go as high as number 3 in this year's NFL draft to the 49ers. Now, Washington has the 19th pick in the draft, and reports say they love Lance and could also be, quote, the next team to unload all their picks to try to get a QB. Bucky Brooks is back with us. Always good to have Bucky. Basile, is Trey Lance worth the hype?
Yes, he's worth the hype. First of all, let me put on my bias, not remove it. My small school love bias, Columbia University, Ivy League, North Dakota State. Let's represent 1AA out here. All right. If you can't hype up somebody from a small school, what's the point of even having hype? The big school players like Acho, they don't need hype. They go to damn University of Texas. Even if you try to change the channel, they on the other channel too. You're like, damn, everywhere I look. Look at me, I'm almost dressed like I'm a Longhorn, right? What y'all do, hook something? All right, so here's the point. If you can't hype up a dude who goes 17-0 in his career as a starter, 6'4", 224, redshirt freshman year, 42 total touchdowns, not a damn interception. Good Lord. I don't care. Right now, Acho, I, and Bucky go out there and play against a Pop Warner team. One of us may throw him one. Like every now and then, you're just going to get lucky if you're the other team. You're trying to tell me not a single opponent even intercepted him? So, yeah, to me, it's simple. You got to hype up a guy like this, and will he materialize? Let's talk about some other small school players. Did Josh Allen materialize? Carson Wentz, ups and downs, but did he materialize? How about Flacco? How about Steve McNair? The point is, get a guy a chance, and more importantly, give him some hype.
So I want to believe that beautiful story that you just sold us all, but I can't. I don't think he's worth the hype. Every year in the draft, there's usually one quarterback we reach on and we miss on, and they're typically either from a small school or a non-football powerhouse. Y'all rock with me here. We reached on Jordan Love last year. Not sure that's going to pan out. We reached on Daniel Jones the year before. Not sure that's going to pan out. We reached on Paxton Lynch. We reached on Mitch Trubisky. We reached on Blake Bortles. We've reached on so many different characters. Yes, there was a Josh Allen, but Josh Allen wasn't this sort of one-hit wonder in Trey Lance. Trey Lance is truly he was a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
He sat out this season, and now he's entering the draft with what real experience? Does he have all the potential in the world? Absolutely. Does he have all the tangibles and intangibles? Most definitely. But in the NFL, like, you got to win right now. My question is, does he have enough time to develop if he's thrust into a starting lineup right away, which he will be as a first-round quarterback, because that's what happens to all first-round quarterbacks outside of Jordan Love and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, man, here we go. Like, we're talking about in his experience. But here's the thing, Acho, because we're going to talk about him not being ready. You know who also has only 17 career starts under his belt?
Uh-oh.
Mac Jones.
Who?
Mac Jones from mighty Alabama only has 17 career starts. He doesn't have that many. Justin Fields only has 22, 23 starts. So when we really look at it, it's not about the experience, because none of these quarterbacks are going to come into the league ready to play. It's going to be about how do you build around them. And so when I think about building around the quarterback, the reason why I would be high on Trey Lance is because 6'3", 235 pounds. The year that he played, he threw for 2,700 yards, ran for over 1,100 yards. And so when we talk about this small school phenom, yeah, but just know he was offered scholarships in the Big Ten to play outside linebacker, but wanted to play quarterback and ended up at North Dakota State. And your pet cat, Acho, Carson Wentz, he also played at North Dakota State, and he was the number 2 overall pick. And there was a time where you talked about and celebrated him as the MVP. And so here we go. It's the same thing. Look, he is as worthy as Carson Wentz was of being a top 5 pick.
Don't let this man, Bucky Brooks, lie to you. First and foremost, Bucky, you know quarterback play is about maturation. It's about life experiences. It's about all that. Justin Fields, he may have only started 22, 23 games, whatever it may be, but he also started at Georgia. And then he was there, and then he transferred. And then he had to learn a new system, learn a new city, learn a new temperature and climate, because he was born in the South, grew up in the South, goes up north, and he leads that team to championships. Carson Wentz came into the league at like 24, big dog. Carson Wentz was like a 5-year senior, if I'm not mistaken. He had been through some things. Mac Jones has been like a 5th-year senior. Like, Mac Jones has been around. He watched Hurts. He watched Tua. He'd been around some things. These quarterbacks also played with more players in their high school stadium than Trey Lance did at North Dakota State. I'm not sleeping on Trey Lance. What I'm saying is this. You saw 17 games where he only threw more than 23 passes, I believe, once as a redshirt freshman. And now, Bucky, you're going to thrust him into somebody's starting lineup and hand him the keys to the franchise. You're setting him up for failure. Even if he could succeed, you're setting him up for failure.
Man, stop that, big dog. Look, I only played 2 seasons of defensive end at an Ivy League school, and look at me. Oh, I don't think that's a good case. All right, here's the thing. This boy Acho want to come up here and talk about it's always a reach and a small school player, and they're the ones that don't turn out right. I'm about to shoot back at you big school players, because I ain't seen too many Alabama quarterbacks succeed. I haven't seen too many Ohio State quarterbacks succeed. I haven't seen too many USC quarterbacks succeed, and not too many Texas linebackers succeed.
Derek Johnson was a dog, though.
I'm talking about you. I'm messing with you. Here's the thing. You want to talk about 17 starts ain't enough? Kyler Murray only made 17 starts, turned out okay.
See,
How about this? How about this?
You're not
Patrick Mahomes.
Your homework.
Patrick Mahomes, this is homework. Loser as a starter. Only 29 games.
Here's the problem.
29 games.
Ain't no
and you were a loser.
Ain't no tease.
Maybe he moved to a warmer climate.
Where did Kyler Murray play college high school football at? Allen.
All right, I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you during commercial break. Coming up. I got you so good. We'll answer the question everyone in the dog pound wants to know. Can Baker and Odell coexist in Cleveland? That's next on Speak for Yourself. An interesting thing happened in Cleveland last season. Baker Mayfield's offensive numbers went up after Odell Beckham Jr.'s season-ending injury. Odell's numbers have been down since coming over from the Giants, prompted NFL.com to say, quote, Beckham will be an ex-Brown if his presence doesn't foster more wins for the team and increase growth from Baker. Wow. Acho, can Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. coexist in Cleveland?
No, but it's because the Browns and Odell can't coexist. And it's not that neither is a great entity individually, but just collectively, they might not be a great match. The Browns, we know this at this point in time. They want to use Baker as a game manager. They want to run the football. They want to play good defense. That doesn't really foster a great role for a star-studded, bona fide, big play wide receiver. That's what it comes down to. Like, Odell is a dude. Odell was setting generational numbers his first 3 years in the league. Then Giants issues, trade him, injury, etc. But the Browns don't even want that. And I don't fault them for not wanting that. They don't want Baker to go out there and throw the ball 35 to 40 times a game like Eli Manning was when Odell was balling. They want Baker to throw the ball 17 to 25 times a game. They want to run the ball 35 times a game for about 215 yards, and that's their route to winning. So it's not that Baker and Odell can't coexist. It's more so that the Browns and Odell can't coexist because you're not maximizing Odell Beckham's value, and you can move Odell on and get something that you utilize.
Facts. And it's even greater than just what you just stated. It's the fact that the expectations have changed now, which means, Odell, you're in a situation where there's really not a good fit for you. I'll tell you why. What Odell needs most, the Browns don't trust Baker to do, which is to throw that ball without a conscience. Think about it. I got two examples. Odell, when he was with Eli Manning, you know how practice was. Eli was like, throw it up. You getting every ball. You're getting the 50-50s. I don't give a damn. I see your talent, and they can't do anything to me. That's the most important part. I bring up another example. This happened to Dez Bryant. I told Dez this one time. We were in the elevator. And I was like, Dez, man, you got played, bro. You know why you got played? Because he went from Tony Romo, who could throw it without a conscience, and you ain't going to do nothing to me. I'm Tony Romo, to Dak Prescott, who, as we used to call, was out there as a rookie having to play yes, coach ball. That means 5 yards and out, I will throw it to you if you're open, if you're the first option. Like, hold on. Dez is like, no. Romo and I got this thing going on. Or throw the 50-50s. I got that. It doesn't have to look pretty when it leaves your hand. It's going to look pretty when it's in my hands. And Baker Mayfield, playing for his job security, playing for his reputation in the league, is not sitting there saying, I'm going to throw without a conscience, and certainly I'm not throwing every 50-50 ball to you. I'm a game manager plus. So in this situation, it's just not fit for Odell Beckham. It's kind of sad.
And the other issue still is like, what's the point in having something valuable that you can't use, right? Like, ain't no point in having the newest $500 running shoes if you ain't a runner. You feel me? Like, let's be real.
At the club, they might work.
I got a new bike at the crib. I got a new one of those. It's not a Peloton, but like a Nordic track. It's like
your checks ain't cashing. Why you couldn't get the one?
So but this one is dope. It just doesn't have the fanciful name like the Peloton. But the thing about it is, like, all I use it for is the most basic features. I don't have no bike shoes. I don't have none of that. I just get on there and use it for the most basic features. That's the Cleveland Browns offense right now. It's just very basic, which is fine. It works for them. We gonna run the ball, play action pass. Run the ball, play action pass. You don't need to have some mega star freakazoid wide receiver in Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham because you're not going to use all the features anyway. Just do you, Browns, and let Odell do it.
Yeah. Boy, you took me back to childhood. Oh, man, getting those knockoff things. And someone, no, it's cool. This is me when I was growing up. I had an Odyssey game system. It wasn't Atari. It was like a Nintendo. And I remember going to school. I was like, yeah, I was playing Odyssey last night. I was like, what's that? I was like, it's like a Nintendo. They're like, why don't you get a Nintendo then? That's what I'm going to tell you. Why don't you get a Peloton, dog, instead of some knockoff version? But here's Odell.
You're a name brand guy.
Hell, I'm going to spend that money. Here's the thing. This is Odell. This is a good line. Odell is Drake in that State Farm commercial. You know what that means? You can't just have Drake in the commercial as a stand-in.
Facts.
I got to be the star. As you can see, what he did in that commercial, that's how Odell going to be looking at you, Baker. Watch your back. Coming up, Andy Reid used the Lombardi Trophy, not something like it, Acho, but the real Lombardi Trophy, to recruit JuJu Smith-Schuster. We'll tell you what we think about that next. Oh, speak for yourself.
JuJu Smith-Schuster is back with the Steelers, but another team pushed hard for him in free agency. JuJu says head coach for the Chiefs, Andy Reid, was calling him and texting Lombardi Trophy pictures to try to get him in Kansas City. JuJu said they had a good talk, and it would have been the Chiefs after the Steelers. So, Marcellus, do you like Andy Reid recruiting JuJu with the Lombardi Trophy?
Yeah, I like the effort, man. Use what you got to get what you want. Now, you didn't get what you wanted, but at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again in this situation. But sometimes a no is a blessing. You know how many times I dog cursed my mama in my mind thinking like, why she won't let me go to that party? And then I heard what happened at that party. Pop, 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 pop. I was like, thank you, mama. Sometimes a no is a blessing.
I only have one very simple rule. This is for Andy Reid and for all you at home. Unsolicited pictures are never a good thing to see.
You better stop. That sounds like a guilty man over there talking. Have a great weekend. Fox Bet Live is next. You got caught up.